I was an iPad kid, which honestly shouldn't be much of a surprise if you were to take one look at me and my channel, but I'll admit when I say that when I had an iPad mini from most of my childhood, I had some damn good memories with that thing, honestly. I would even get my first phone in like 2017 or 2018, so I was literally just hugging this thing around everywhere. It was kind of like my personal comfort thing. However, unlike iPad kids today, where they are learning about Tung 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 Sahur and Mr. Beast, I got an iPad mini where I would discover the world wide web of mobile games. If you were like me, which is basically just constantly poor, and you couldn't afford an Xbox, a PlayStation, or even the Wii, Apple decided to step in and allow mobile games to be another way for children to experience gaming, all through the Game Center, which was probably the most broken service that I have ever had to experience because it basically worked as well as DJ Academics' laptop when he miraculously just broke it. I'm not going to go through most of the history of mobile apps to begin with, since there's already a video out there that I think actually does a pretty good job at doing that, a lot more better than I ever honestly would, but it had me thinking. There was a good amount of apps that I played in a very good wide variety. Would I, in the modern day of the Big 25, be able to play them again? Would my feelings change for them? More importantly, where I would end up ranking them. Yep, it's another tier list, except it's with mobile games, and personally ones that I've actually at least played or have experienced at least enough with. Now I think it's fair that we start with Dual Jump. It's the most classic of the mobile games that hasn't changed at all. It's basically as popular of the game that you could find in arcades like Around 1 and the David Buster's. It's simple, you jump from platform to platform, see how high you go before you fall. It gets a B because it very much works as like kind of like the first stone of like the endless amounts of Endless Runner games. Subway Surfers is special to me, being that the first mobile game I downloaded and loved playing, as growing up came back to replaying it sometimes. I mean, the game was actually so good that it ended up getting a YouTube series, even though it's basically cancelled because of modern streaming, I guess. But I'm giving this an A, and this is mainly due to the one simple factor that kind of held it from being a top S contender. Its association to modern brain rot and attention spans. It sounds unfair when saying this because the game literally had no control of it, but it kind of has stained of what was this simple game about just, running away from a cop after graffiti. I get this feeling of kind of looking at it as a rundown blockbuster. I know what it was back then, and now I see how shell of what it was meant to be. Temple Run is very good. The only mild difference you end up having to get is that you have to tilt the side in order to get the coins and very much to avoid the monkeys. Mini Rush, I would say that was fun when I was a kid, but seeing that now that you have the challenges and low regressions ruins how the endless runners are kind of just made sense. It'll just now stop you if you do end up completing a challenge. To me, that personally kind of deserves a C. Jetpack Joyride was a game a lot of people played, but I didn't play as much as I could have wanted to, but it does count as an endless runner as well. And the other ones like Crossy Roads, Rama Run, or Street Runner are basically just one gimmick, so they didn't have much of a higher bar to kind of just set for themselves in any way, shape, or form. Chameleon Run, I argue, is the better endless runner, and just for levels and mobile apps, you gotta switch from color to color due to how you run, and there will be platforms that only allow certain colors for you to run on. There's all challenges, collectibles, and the levels themselves have a nice replay value to them, unlike a Mini Rush where it's basically like the Fortnite Daily Quest, where it's so easy to complete them. This personally gets an S from me because I actually like playing Chameleon Rush. Flappy Bird was going to be in here regardless, but I'm giving this an A. Now, I know that this sounds a lot bigger because this is Flappy Bird we are talking about. This is the same game that made people so angry at trying to see the possible ending of this stupid bird that it gave the creator the vision to shut it down and never want to associate with the brand at all or even bring it back. I do believe that there was a end to the game. I still remember this one YouTube video of someone making it to the very end and turned into a boss battle, though they never beat it, but it was a real video and you don't see any Sora 2 watermark on it, so. Plus, I think the game is just fine as it is. It's just a nice little memory that you can just end up going for, but no will reach the completion that Flappy Bird ever did. Now, Battle Bears, this is where it's at. This is a game that was basically my version of Pixel Gun and TF2. My brother and I would love playing this game a lot. Even looking at the footage of this brings me back, and it's honestly such a shame that this is now gone from the App Store, because I imagine a lot of people would end up loving this game if this were to be like re-released back for like a PC port. People would have loved playing this. Like, this is just like an S on there because it's my list. I get to pick what I choose here. Angry Birds a classic. I'm shocked at how that this IP managed to get so many different apps. Like, I think there's literally about like 26 Angry Birds spin-offs of all different apps. But when it came to the OG, it's just, it's nice. Just know which birds you want to try and see to destroy the piggies. As for bad piggies, those are on that same level of fun of just testing the ways for the pigs to survive, and they just MacGyver their their unique contraptions and whatever way you built them. They both end up getting themselves a B because I find myself to actually have a nice time with them, and they honestly have just good games. They're just nice little classic little games. Now here we have the type of game that I came to have a huge dislike for, which are Civilization games. There was a time where I did like them, but you'll see how in my progress it was basically just a live and learn. I had to keep experiencing the same thing about 3 times before I had to clonk into my head that it was just not worth keeping these games anymore. Now the only exception to this one was Clash of Clans. I can't say mad at this game as it was the hot shit for so many people in middle school. People were just discussing about what they're building their bases, coming up with strategy how to effectively tear down another's base. Not to mention the amount of charm that they had in their ads, which is really wholesome and really funny. I can't believe I kind of forgot to mention them or even put them in the footage of my previous commercials video. I'm not sure what the game is like now since the last time I did play. It was around the time of the biggest thing was the Builder Islands update, but I'm gladly giving this an S because I had a lot of memories with this one. The next one that never made me mad was Monster Game Monsters. When I say that this game does updates, it actually makes the game feel much more worthwhile. All it's about is just more monsters, they make music, and all together they make delicious music. New islands are being made, which means new music and new monsters being added. For this team to keep coming up with how the monsters look, the instrument to play, and how it works with the other ones is no easy thing to do, but it's still impressive and it manages to still be active to this day. This honestly gets an easy answer on me because I actually end up liking most of the tracks they end up playing out there, and it's honestly just really nice to hear. Now The Simpsons Tapped Out holds something special for me, and it was the first Civilization game that I played, and it was the game that introduced me to The Simpsons. It was cool building your own Springfield and unlocking new characters from the show and seeing how it all looks. The turning point is where since the game allows you to save your data either on Game Center or Facebook, and when one of my cousins tapped the Facebook icon that's kind of in there at the beginning, my entire progress was lost. And years later I would go by and attempt to get it all back, but then I lost it again during the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy. It wasn't due to lack of power in my house or a lack of connection to internet. Surprisingly, for some reason, on a random day, it decided to just make me lose all my hope in the game. Yet despite all that, it gets a B because even though I was angry at first and I actually ended up losing all my progress, I still had some very much good memories within it, but it's only downhill from there when most Civilization games, unlike Clash of Clans, will be able to be like the cream of the crop when it comes to mobile apps. Feeling like the cluster stuff was my cope for losing my stuff and Tapped Out, but it didn't really hit the same. It had their events, even though they were made to it where it was basically impossible to get them within a certain period, and Futurama Worlds of Tomorrow only managed to stand out of their combat system they implemented. Collecting certain characters to have them attain levels was a bigger reason to keep playing the game. I became completely done with Family Guy because I just did not care at that point, and Futurama was just that I ended up losing my progress on one day when I progressed so much, and I basically gave up on all Civ games. Family Guy B, Futurama C. I didn't care that much about Hey Day, SpongeBob moves in, or even The Sims. I didn't care. I had zero interest because I was already very too much familiar with them, so they just all, they get in D tier. Downloads to Die is a bit interesting because at least within this one, it's more about just progressing throughout the levels to earn more of the characters on your training platform. And while it's nice, it's a bit grindy, I will honestly say, so it kind of gets a B for me, but I do kind of like how that this game literally came from just a general PSA to just about train safety. I think that's kind of a little bit funny. Roland Sky has some nice music and pretty nice visual with its colors, and Geometry Dash, despite only playing the game for a short amount of time, it has managed to still be popular to a point where there exists a community of people that are dedicated to just keeping this game alive. That being said, I like Rolling Sky a little bit better, much more better than Geometry Dash, so this is kind of the place that we're getting into. Minecraft Mobile was kind of how one may experience Minecraft, because that's kind of how I experienced most of it until I had the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One. Minecraft Lite is just for people that want to play Minecraft but don't want to fork over the $2 for the App Store, and Exploration Lite is just walking simulator. You can guess where each of them will go. Minecraft gets an A, Minecraft Lite gets a C, and no one cares about this game. I don't think you ever even played it. Whereas my Water, Float Tube, Air Glow Hockey are very basic games, there's not much to say on them, and basically the same thing within Agar.io and Slither.io. They're basically the same gimmick. One's a circle, one's a snake. They all literally end up going into C. You cannot tell me otherwise that these are just the most basic games you could just find out there, and you'll end up getting all of them pretty quickly. Cut the Rope, although the same, is a bit better because it's all about just finding the ideal path to give to the candy of Om Nom, so it gets a B, and plus, Unknown's cute. Like, I don't know who would end up hanging on this little green guy. Clash Royale was a bit of a different breed than Clash of Clans. It being a card deck type of game was a lot more addicting. I literally started joining in my middle school's clan to beat out of another school's clan. I had a friend that would end up talking about the new metas, the new cards, and how he would end up learning them, and getting a patch notes about how certain cards operate now was literally now more important than ever. The game had put a lot more than it was before than the last time I had played it, but if I were to play again within the game, I would honestly would, because it's just a lot of fun and it gets an S from me immediately. Guys, I'm gonna be so honest with all y'all, Plants vs Zombies just did not do anything for me. I am so sorry. I know people love this game, but I just couldn't be into it. The same applies for like Pizza Skeleton. It's fun for a bit until it's kind of not after like 10 minutes. Now, Fruit Ninja is a lot more better because it's a lot more fun just to cut the fruits up, so that gets a B, honestly. Candy Crush was just not the game I care for as much when playing it. Toon Boom somehow proved to be much more of a worthwhile use of my time than it did. I don't know how. They are just literally the same game, and I could not tell you otherwise. Candy Crush gets a D, Toon Boom gets like a C. It's like they're the same thing. I don't know why this ranking kind of just matters. I don't know that much about Pokemon. All I know is that Pokemon Gold told me to go outside, so it really gets a D. But what I do know about is YouTube, and that all came from PewDiePie's YouTuber Simulator. It was basically a lot of people just roleplaying of being a YouTuber, and it was a lot of fun just kind of to see exactly how many views and how popular you can get just to earn more things. It's still up on the App Store till this day, and it's honestly just really nice. So it kind of gets an A from my book, just how much I had to grind on that. Goat Simulator, you're just a goat, you cause mischief, that's really all you need to do. It gets a B. And Bread, same gimmick, but it kind of gets old. Talking Tom is just not impressive all to that mean much. I know you can just tap it, you can beat them up, you can make them say words, but again, the gimmick gets old fast, and I'm not including Talking Ben either. It's basically the same game. Clumsy Ninja, Officer, Plumber Crack, Beat the Boss, and Kick the Buddy are just the kid versions of simulators just to take your anger on something and just to beat them up. Something that just has no real feelings, or you could just cause temporary annoyance. I really hold no stronger feelings on them, though I just have seen them in like right old school vibes because like they're just a little bit funny. BMO the app was more interesting because it works a lot more of a better experience if you have BMO on an iPad mini. It makes it just a lot more better and more interactive because BMO is essentially just a large brick rectangle. It's not doing anything that's impressive, it's just a nice novelty app, and that's all it kind of just serves to be. Akinator's like a 50-50. I like the premise, but I never held my attention when growing up. Escape Room's like a C because it's very much just as simple as you can get within an escape room. You just gotta find the things and escape it until it's like you beat like the 5th level. Among Us is technically a mobile app and it gets an A because it is still a little bit popular. The Gun app was the app that every kid thought it would just end up making them so cool and it would be like getting them into so much trouble. Now in the real world, kids can just obtain guns, so it already gets a B. What's My IQ is a bit lame because it's basically just a trolley type game that kind of just end up holding your attention span, and it's very dated with how it does it. And Don't Press the Button requires the absolute resolve just to not press it. It's a message about temptation and the urge you must not get into. This is the stuff that they tell you about in the Bible. It's seriously just no joke. IQ D, and the button also gets like a C. And with that, we have ranked in all the mobile apps that I have played. I know there were some that I may have missed, but I want to just include the ones that I have played at least to a bit and have more of extensive knowledge on, rather than ones that I just have like seen before but never played for them because it would have been way too long of a video just kind of put them, because it would just all be basically like I don't know this game. But yeah, that's kind of about it. I kind of thought about one day and decided that this is kind of a nice little like a little slop for like the channel a little bit. You know, a little bit of a tier list that we do here and there once in the blue moon. I know this is a lot more of a lighter video, but I do have another one planned in this for a little bit. It's gonna be taking a little bit more time to work on, so I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.